Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity Episode 13 begins with Rintarou waiting for Waguri. She arrives wearing a yukata and looks absolutely stunning, apologizing for being a little late. Rintarou tells her she doesn't need to apologize and thinks to himself that this is a day he will never forget. Then the scene shifts to the past. We see the moment when Rintarou gathered the courage to call Waguri for the first time. He hesitates, then finally dials her number. When she answers, he thanks her for picking up and also thanks her for that day at the beach, saying he really enjoyed it. Waguri replies that she also had a really good time. Rintarou then nervously brings up what he said while they were lighting sparklers and apologizes for it. He asks if they can meet and talk about it properly and adds that if she refuses, that's okay too. Waguri, blushing, agrees to meet him and suggests they see each other at the summer festival. Back in the present, both of them are extremely shy. Rintarou says her name, Waguri says his, and then both fall silent, unable to continue. To break the tension, Waguri suggests they get something to eat. She buys an apple candy and really enjoys it. Rintarou wonders why he still can't say what he wants to say. He then notices something on her cheek and says, "Waguri-san, you've got something on your cheek." She starts acting flustered and childlike while trying to wipe it off, and he laughs. Waguri tells him not to laugh at her like that. They decide to just enjoy the festival for a while. They eat a lot of food, play various games, win some prize money, and spend a long, happy time together. Waguri admits she ate a bit too much. Rintarou suggests they rest for a bit and asks if her feet hurt from walking so much. Waguri says she's fine. They end up sitting very close together, both blushing, and a brief silence falls between them. Rintarou decides he has to say what's in his heart. He can't just let the night end like this. He calls her name, and when Waguri looks gently at him, he suddenly says it straight out. He tells her, "I love you. I really, really love you." He explains that the first time he saw her smile, it seemed perfect to him and made him feel deeply satisfied. But he couldn't say anything back then because of the problems between their schools. While they were lighting fireworks, he realized there was definitely something between them, just like there is something between any couple. Rintarou admits he's being a bit greedy now. He could have stayed quiet and still spent time with her, but he didn't want that. He wanted to be honest. He tells her he wants to spend much more time with her and wants her always by his side, for them to go places together. Then he apologizes for saying so much but adds that he's finally let everything in his heart out. Waguri replies that she knows he still isn't fully satisfied. She asks if he remembers their first meeting. Rintarou says he remembers seeing her eating lots of cake at his family's shop. Waguri says that actually wasn't their first meeting, and now the surprising part begins. She explains that once, he saved her, and that's the real reason she kept going to his family's cake shop. Rintarou can't remember ever having saved her, but she says that day is still very clear in her mind. It was last winter when it was snowing heavily. She had forgotten her umbrella at home and thought she should rush back before catching a fever. Then she saw his family's cake shop. She loved cake, but on that particular day she didn't feel like eating any. However, the warmth coming from inside the shop drew her in. The first person she saw inside was Rintarou. When she took her first bite of cake, it felt warm and comforting. She hadn't eaten anything so good in a long time and couldn't hold back her tears. Rintarou came over and tried to cheer her up. Rintarou doesn't remember this, so he gets flustered and claims he does, but Waguri laughs and says she knows he doesn't. She says he doesn't need to be upset about that. She knows that he would have done the same for anyone else. That's just how kind he is. But still, to her, it felt like he had saved her that day. His kindness made her really happy, and that's why she doesn't mind that he forgot. Waguri continues, reminding him that he said he didn't want to trouble her because of their school's problems. But she points out that their first encounter happened in a place where their school names didn't matter at all. She then describes how she prepared to go to the shop, putting on makeup, picking nice clothes, doing her hair, and feeling very excited. On the way she wished she could talk to him again, even though just speaking with him made her heart race. At the shop, his mother had gotten used to seeing her since she came so often, and Waguri happily ordered cakes. She spotted Rintarou in the kitchen and was thrilled to see him but thought, he's always in the kitchen, how can I talk to him? She felt that dressing up nicely might have been pointless if she couldn't even speak to him. Even so, the shop gave her peace, and the cake made her feel warm inside, so she kept coming back. In truth, she wanted to see that fair-skinned, kind boy working there and talk to him again. One day, his mother joked that at this rate Waguri would end up trying every cake in the shop. Waguri replied that everything tasted so good. His mother said that hearing that would make her husband very happy. Waguri was shocked to learn the man in black was her husband, and that the boy next to him was their son. She had thought Rintarou was just a normal part-timer, but now learned he was the owner's son and a first-year high schooler. Embarrassed at mistaking him for a regular worker, she ran out, but she was still happy to have finally learned his name. After that, she kept coming for months but still couldn't bring herself to talk to him directly, and eventually she began to lose hope. She decided to stop going to the shop, but one rainy day she was really hungry, and seeing the cakes made her hunger worse. She didn't want to go in but somehow pushed herself to enter again. Rintarou wasn't visible, but she told his mother she wanted to eat the cake there, which surprised her because Waguri usually took them home. His mother got called away for some urgent matter, leaving Waguri alone at a table. Waguri began eating and again thought how delicious the cakes were. She tried not to think about Rintarou, but her mind wandered back to him. She scolded herself and tried to focus on eating. Then she glanced to her side and realized this was the first time she and Rintarou made eye contact properly. She became extremely nervous and excited, thinking her luck was terrible because she wasn't wearing a cute outfit that day, just something plain. She blushed hard as he stared at her, and unable to control herself, she ran out. Outside, she called herself an idiot and considered giving up. But then she decided she couldn't give up so easily. The next day, she went back to the shop and, all flustered, told his mother she wanted to talk to her son about something important. Rintarou came out, and seeing him again made her blush even more. She had wanted to thank him properly for that previous time, but didn't have the courage, so instead she simply asked if they could sit and eat cake together. And as we already know from the very first episode, that simple moment, two people sharing cake, became the starting point of everything between them. Waguri then remembers how, after Rintarou stood up for her against the delinquents in episode 1, she couldn't focus on her studies at all. No matter how hard she tried, her thoughts kept drifting back to that moment. Telling herself to stop overthinking, she walked over and opened the classroom curtain, hoping to clear her head. Instead, she unexpectedly met Rintarou's gaze through the window of the building across from hers. She was just about to call out his name when he suddenly closed the curtain, exactly the way we saw it happen in the first episode. Waguri was actually happy then, because she finally knew he was from Chidori High School. That meant she could see him again whenever she wanted, and that realization made her very happy. She wondered if this was actually her first love after all. Back in the present, she stands up and says, "Rintarou, my name is Waguri, and your name is Rintarou." Just like in the early episodes, she repeats her simple self-introduction to cut through the wall between their schools. She says their schools shouldn't matter. What matters is how they themselves feel. He likes talking to her and she likes talking to him, so they should talk. She thanks him sincerely for always speaking with her and then asks, if he has no objection to what she said, if he will accept her. Then she finally says the words, "I love you, Rintarou." Rintarou responds by saying that when he looked beyond the curtain a second time, he never imagined he would see a world he hadn't even dreamed of. That world was her. She was the one who reached out her hand to him with her own strength, and that's why he was able to get to know her so well. And with that, this beautiful anime comes to an end.